This is Lowell Thomas inviting you to come on an epic journey such as no man ever made.
A cross between Indiana Jones and Edward R. Murrow, Lowell Thomas was both explorer and journalist. He spent a lifetime traveling the world in search of stories and adventure. He found plenty of both, going from adventure to adventure, learning about the world and its people, and sharing the wonder of travel by radio, book, newspaper, and magazine. Then he invented the movie travelogue and pioneered Cinerama, America's first ever widescreen theatrical presentation, to better bring the world to the folks back home. It's the compelling legacy of Lowell Thomas that serves as the standard of excellence for the SATW Foundation's Lowell Thomas Travel Journalism Awards. From more than 1,100 entries, judges from the University of North Carolina Chapel Hill School of Journalism and Mass Communications have selected the 2012 winners.
First in the new category of Best Travel App, winning bronze is 50 Places of a Lifetime from National Geographic traveler Keith Bellows, Editor-in-Chief.
Taking silver, Above and Beyond, a travel app designed by National Geographic photographer and adventurer George Steinmetz, who explains in brief audio clips the stories behind some of his most amazing photographs, many taken from his motorized hang glider.
And the top travel app is Travel by Handstand from creator Peter Landau. Launched in the fall of 2011, Travel by Handstand redefines the travel experience by iPad.
Peter and his editors hand-select travel picks daily from a wide variety of sources, and this growing archive is a wealth of easily accessible data for the traveler. Overall, this application has great content, well presented, and easily consumed.
In the category of Best Travel Blog, the Bronze Award goes to Fodor's Travel Tech Blog by Scott Tharler for fodors.com/tech.
The silver winner, Intelligent Travel by the National Geographic Traveler Digital Team on intelligenttravel.nationalgeographic.com.
And winning gold, the Vacation Gals on thevacationgals.com from SATW member Kara Williams, SATW member Beth Blair, and Jennifer Miner. This delightful blog has a lot to offer with a wealth of advice on topics such as family destinations, as well as romantic getaways. The blog is well organized and the writing is engaging and often witty.
For Best Online Travel Journalism Site, bronze is afar.com. Greg Sullivan, Editorial Director.
Silver is presented to Fodors.com. Arabella Bowen, Executive Editorial Director.
The gold-winning travel journalism site, travel.nationalgeographic.com, from National Geographic Traveler, Keith Bellows, Editor-in-Chief. Traveler's website extends the magazine's mission of inspiring readers to travel. The destinations covered encompass both the smallest, least traveled locations, as well as the traditional tourist hotspots. The site offers an authentic, classic travel experience with tested travel recommendations.
Winning bronze for Best Travel Guidebook is Photographing Maui by SATW member Douglas Peebles for the Countryman Press.
Silver belongs to Signs and Shrines, Spiritual Journeys Across New Mexico by SATW member Sharon Niederman, also for Countryman Press.
And the Best Travel Guidebook is The Great American Ale Trail from Christian D. Benedetti for Running Press. The author spent a year researching small breweries across the country, and you can hear his genuine enjoyment of the places he went, the people he met, and yes, the beer he drank.
And the best overall beer city in America? According to Christian, it's in North Carolina.
For Best Travel Book, bronze goes to Cambodian Girl by Anne Elizabeth Moore for Cantankerous Titles.
The silver winner is The Unconquered, In Search of the Amazon's Last Uncontacted Tribes by Scott Wallace for Crown Publishers.
Taking gold is Walnut Wine and Truffle Groves, Culinary Adventures in the Dordogne, written by Kimberly Lovato and published by Running Press. This book has everything you could want in a travel book. A deep appreciation of the culture of the Dordogne region of France, insights in how the people live and think, fascinating information about history and geography, along with practical tips for visiting there.
In the category of Best Short Travel Article, the bronze winner is Sex and the River, written by SATW member Susan Farlow for the San Francisco Chronicle.
Silver goes to Selma, Alabama, Crossing a Bridge into Civil Rights History by SATW member Larry Bleiberg in the Los Angeles Times.
And the top short travel article is Trains That Won the West by Bruce Newman in Via. Resting on a firm foundation of good reporting, Bruce offers a magnificent blend of railroad history and the many attractions found in the California State Railroad Museum, Sacramento.
But it's the vivid imagery of his writing that lifts the story out of the ordinary. With nice detail about the likes of both dining cars and Pullman sleepers, he enriches the reader's knowledge of travel in an earlier time.
In the competition for Best Special Purpose Travel Story, the bronze winner is Volunteering in Haiti, Good Intentions Not Enough by Christina Rexroad for the Associated Press.
The silver winner is Comrade Cowboy Part 3 by Ryan T. Bell in Western Horseman.
And winning gold, What is Africa to Me by Clinton Etheridge in the Swarthmore College Bulletin. In a remarkably insightful memoir, Clinton recounts 2 trips to Gambia, first as a Peace Corps volunteer in 1970, then 40 years later with his family on a mission to connect his children with their African roots. His gentle, wisdom-laden prose slides us through the lessons he learned while telling the story of those journeys.
For Best Personal Comment, bronze goes to Lost and Liberated in the Dordogne by Kimberly Lovato for Gatling.com.
The silver winner is Masha, A Well-Worn Memory of Moscow by Marcia DeSanctis for Traveler's Tales, Best Women's Travel Writing, and Riki, Literary Journeys for the Discerning Traveler.
Taking gold, The Cycle of Life by SATW member Andrew McCarthy for National Geographic Traveler. Andrew's tale involves a young man who offers a moto tour of Saigon for a preset price. At day's end, pleasantries between the two dissolve into distrust.
As he reminds us of the numerous levels of friction that could exist between two people in their respective situations, Andrew presents an expertly written conclusion, which will leave the reader shaken.
In the category of Best Cultural Tourism article, winning bronze is Japan's Past Perfect by Don George for National Geographic Traveler.
Winning silver, Reimagining Hangzhou by Joshua Cooper Ramo in Departures.
And the top cultural tourism article is Ground Zero as Dark Tourist Site by SATW member Michael Luongo for Miller McCune, now Pacific Standard Magazine. Written on the 10th anniversary of 9/11, Michael's poignant story is a cultural tourism excursion like no other, telling the story word by word of Ground Zero tourism with appropriate reverence on his way to earning gold.
For Best Environmental Tourism article, the Bronze Award winner is Over the Alps on a Bike with a Boost by Tim Neville for the New York Times.
Taking silver, Clean the World, Hotel Soaps That Care by Andrea Sachs in the Washington Post.
And gold in the category goes to Sharkbait by Joshua Hammer in Outside. Joshua's piece about shark attacks worldwide is an ideal combination of reporting, writing, and appropriateness. He is thorough with in-depth reporting of the causes and the effects of the attacks, covering the environmental angles and the impact on tourism.
In the category of Best Service-Oriented Consumer Article, winning bronze is One's Company, The En Route Guide to Flying Solo by Jean-Francois Legare and team for En Route.
Silver's winner is Now Arriving in Alabama, Your Lost Luggage by Scott Mayerowitz for the Associated Press.
Winning gold, Renting a Vacation Home, Beware Scams by Hannah Sampson in the Miami Herald. Hannah's story is what service-oriented travel stories are all about. With great examples and practical guidelines, she takes her readers through a plan of how to avoid being ripped off.
For Best Travel News Investigative Reporting, the bronze winner is Flyers Refuse to Turn Off Devices by Gary Stoller in USA Today.
Taking silver, Hub Premiums Cost Delta Flyers Plenty at Metro by SATW member Ellen Krager and Jennifer Dixon in the Detroit Free Press.
And the top Travel News Investigative Reporting Award winner is FAA Limits Emergency Oxygen by Gary Stoller in USA Today, who also took bronze in the category. In a stunning, succinctly written story, Gary reported in November 2011 how the FAA had quietly ordered airlines to remove emergency oxygen generators from airplane bathrooms because of terrorism concerns.
Without the emergency oxygen, if the plane lost pressurization, a passenger in the aircraft lavatory could have as little as 30 seconds of useful consciousness. In June of this year, the FAA reversed the decision and gave the airlines an additional 3 years to design a tamper-proof oxygen system.
For Best Adventure Travel Article, bronze is awarded to Avoiding the Crowds on an Everest Trek by Alex Hutchison in the New York Times.
The silver award winner is Big Cat Diary by Mark Jenkins for National Geographic Traveler.
And the gold-winning adventure travel article is Are We There Yet? 6 Guys in a Capsule by Bill Donahue in Wired Magazine. Bill writes of 6 volunteers who agreed to spend 520 days in a stationary cubicle to simulate the conditions astronauts would encounter on a 17-month-long space journey to Mars.
For coverage of cruise travel, the Bronze Award winner is European River Cruise by SATW member Barbara Ramsey Orr in Ontario's West of the City magazine.
Winning silver, discover an explosion of color on this Dutch river cruise, also by SATW's Barbara Ramsey Orr. This in the Globe and Mail, Toronto.
And the Gold Award winner for cruise travel is Antarctica, following Shackleton's footsteps by SATW member Margie Goldsmith in the Affluent Traveler magazine. In December 1914, Sir Ernest Shackleton led a 28-man expedition to be the first men ever to cross Antarctica.
Margie Goldsmith provides an interesting and informative article to rediscover the world Shackleton and his men explored in their 2-year adventure. The writing is good, and the descriptions are outstanding.
The penguins, Margie writes, were like children, some flapping their flippers as though any second they expected to fly.
The Best Special Package or Project Bronze Award is presented to Bambino on Board, Europe for a Month with Max, a 3-year-old son on board, by SATW member Jerry Severinsky for AOL Travel and the Huffington Post.
The Silver Award goes to Machu Picchu, Reaching Its Peak by Christopher Reynolds for the Los Angeles Times print and online.
The gold in the category goes to What Stands in a Storm from Kim Cross, Aaron Street, and Rick Bragg for Southern Living print, online, and video. This special package paints a scene of incredible destruction and amazing human survival, recounting the historic April 27, 2011 wave of devastating Alabama tornadoes.
The writing is engaging, the video stories are intimate, and the content hangs together in a well-curated exhibit about human strength, resiliency, and goodness.
It was a 2-bedroom house. It was my home.
It makes you realize that life is short.
It's just a really humbling experience. You realize how lucky you really are.
I think the biggest lesson I learned is moving forward to be grateful every day.
It's just amazing to me that people that you don't even know would just come to do whatever they can for you.
There still are a lot of really good people left in this world. When you need them, they're there. You don't even have to ask them, they just show up.
For the best photo illustration of a travel article, the Bronze Award winner is The Canary Islands by photographer and SATW member Gary Arndt for everythingeverywhere.com.
Taking silver, Lost Cities Found Anew by photographer Piotr Wydlinski in the New York Times.
The gold in the category belongs to Mauritius, the Smallest World by photographer Brown W. Cannon III for Islands. The explosion of culture and beauty in the photos draws you in. Brown knows how to capture the essence of a destination as he weaves the reader through an exciting journey with masterful photography.
For the best article on foreign travel, winning bronze is Green Pastures and the Ghosts of Rwanda by Marcia De Sanctis for Overnight Buses Travel Magazine for the iPad.
The Silver Award winning article is Comrade Cowboy Part 1 by Ryan T. Bell in Western Horseman. Ryan's Part 3 of this series took silver in a special purpose travel category.
And winning gold in the category, The Killing Fields by Eric Hansen in Outside. This is an artist recreation of the birth of the rare and prized fungus Yashagamba, sometimes called Himalayan Viagra.
The mold forms when a parasitic fungus invades the burrowing larva of a ghost moth. When harvested, the half herb and half insect looks like a shriveled brown chili pepper. In The Killing Fields, Eric transports his readers to current-day Nepal and the remote village of Nar, where the murder of 7 young men is believed linked to a turf war over the black market trade of the coveted fungus.
Eric traces both the legal trade and black market deals from villages in Tibet, India, and Nepal to high-class dinner parties in Beijing, where Yashagamba has replaced champagne as the most coveted gift. It's a travel saga interlaced with international intrigue on a grand scale.
Next, the winners for Best Article on U.S. and Canadian Travel. The Bronze Award winner, Living with Kapu by David Lansing in Islands. David returns that forbidden rock taken from Kauai.
The silver winner is Riding Blind by Ryan Knighton in Outside. Surfing instruction with a blind student and a deaf instructor.
And gold in the category, also in Outside, belongs to 57 Feet and Rising, written by W. Hotting Carter. You don't expect a travel article to emerge from something as horrific as the Great Flood of 2011. Nor do you expect a travel writer to risk being shot in order to gather information for a story.
But that's what happened when W. Hotting Carter illegally paddled a canoe 300 miles from Memphis to Vicksburg to see the effects of the devastating flood. It's a thrilling story that puts the reader in the middle of one of the most catastrophic national disasters in U.S. history.
In the category of Best Audio Travel Broadcast, the Bronze Award goes to Travel with Rick Steves from SATW member Rick Steves on public radio stations and podcasts.
Winning silver, Joseph Rosendo's Travel Scope with SATW member Joseph Rosendo for travelscope.net radio and podcast.
The gold-winning audio is Rudy Maxa's World, the syndicated radio travel show with Rudy Maxa. You expect any travel program to take you to interesting places. Rudy does that, but he goes far beyond that basic goal. A former Washington Post reporter and one of America's premier consumer travel experts, Rudy has helped save thousands of travelers time and money with his writings and radio and television shows.
To join Rudy Maxa, call 800-387-8025. Now back to Rudy Maxa's World.
In a decision that surely lifted the spirits of Alec Baldwin, the FAA this week announced it intended to see if many consumer electronic items that airlines insist be kept off during takeoff and landing have any effect on an aircraft's electronic systems. Notice I say that airlines insist on them being kept off. Despite what you might have heard during 1,000 in-flight announcements, there's no FAA rule regarding the turning off of electronic devices such as iPads and laptops. The FAA has allowed airlines to make those rules. Now the FAA intends to see if this is all a myth or not. One thing for certain, though, cell phones will not be allowed to be kept on.
For the best video travel broadcast, taking bronze is the television version of Travel Scope with SATW member Joseph Rosendo and Julie Rosendo. The winning episode, Guatemala Semana Santa, as seen on PBS.
The silver-winning telecast is Takeoff with Ashley Colburn and Takeoff Thailand for the Wealth TV network.
And taking gold as the best video travel broadcast for an unprecedented fourth year in a row is SATW member Richard Bang's Adventures with Purpose.
And the winning episode this year is Pearl River Delta, Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangdong, Quest for Harmony, as seen on American Public Television.
The Quest for Harmony is much more than a tour of the venues involved. It tells a story rooted in culture and tradition. Superb videography and excellent writing show us how various traditions and practices are all a part of the Quest for Harmony.
Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangdong, 3 pearls in one exquisite setting. Each distinct, yet bound together by a cultural veneration of harmony. Just as a wick needs a flame, some of us can't live without exploring our existence. And I inevitably find myself turning to the East and the wisdom of the ancients. In the trilogy of spaces we'll visit, we'll explore how the people of the Pearl River Delta seek harmony in this age.
For the best travel coverage in magazines that are not specifically travel-oriented, the Bronze Award winner is Westways. SATW member Elizabeth Harriman, travel editor.
Winning silver, Southern Living, Jennifer Cole, features editor.
Taking the Gold Award, Midwest Living, SATW member Kendra L. Williams, senior travel editor. With appealing graphics and lively writing, Midwest Living pampers the reader.
Agendas offer highlights for day-long and weekend trips and range from restaurants, in fact a lot of these, to museums, parks, shops, and hotels.
For the best travel magazine, the bronze goes to Arthur Fromer's Budget Travel, Mark Pazer, editor.
Silver is awarded to National Geographic traveler Keith Bellows, editor-in-chief.
And taking gold in the category as Best Travel Magazine is, afar, Julia Cosgrove, Editor-in-Chief. The magazine's matte finish cover instantly sets it apart from many other travel magazines on the newsstand.
And the inside doesn't disappoint. This is a stunning magazine, with every page a treat for the eye, full of vivid photography and bolstered by good first-person writing. Compelling images show the reader faraway places to wander, with 4 featured destinations in each issue.
A helpful destination index on the table of contents page gives readers some idea of the wide scope offered in this impressive magazine.
And now to the awards for Best Newspaper Travel Sections. First, for newspapers with circulation less than 350,000.
The Bronze Award-winning section is the San Francisco Chronicle. SATW member Spud Hilton, travel editor. Places to go, of course, and travel tips for packing, special items.
The silver-winning travel section is The Record of Northern New Jersey. Mark Schwartz, travel editor. And of course, from New Jersey, there had to be a Jersey experience.
And gold goes to the Oregonian, Portland, Oregon. SATW member Alex Pulaski, travel editor. The Oregonian reflects its city's reputation. Different. It's insidiously informative, and it offers a wide-ranging variety. How about a tour of forgotten cemeteries across Oregon, or a visit to a charming dating spot between Portland and Seattle?
But most impressively, the Oregonian stands for hard journalism. In Unexpected Journey, the paper goes activist in a development battle between a coral reef and a golf course.
For newspapers with a circulation of 350,000 or more, the Bronze Award goes to the Los Angeles Times. SATW member Catherine Ham, travel editor.
The Silver Award-winning travel section is the New York Times. Danielle Mattoon, travel editor. And yes, the headline is the same, but it's a different story angle completely.
Winning gold in this category, the Washington Post. Joe Yonan, travel editor. In this highly competitive division, the Post's breadth separates the best from the very good.
It's not so much the provocative locations, Russia, Egypt, Korea, but the well-planned historical angles that make the stories relevant right now.
Don't visit just Moscow. Take in Estonia, St. Petersburg, and Romania.
Get out of Seoul and meet the lost prince of the Choson dynasty.
Closer to home, Steve Hendricks finds a hideaway from the TMI of Disney World, a group of cabins in one corner of the Fort Wilderness Campground, where families can find a peaceful respite from all the glitz.
There's a practical side to the paper as well. A short history of luggage ends up examining the question, to pull or not to pull.
And now, here are the 2012 winners selected by the judges in the competition for the Grand Award, Travel Journalist of the Year.
The Bronze Award winner is freelance writer Aaron Teasdale. The bike riding adventures of the Teasdale family make for big-time reading in a series of remarkable stories about cycling through Montana, Canada, and even remote regions of Vietnam.
Aaron knows how to spice up his stories with exciting wildlife encounters and detailed observations of fascinating sights, often going by bike where angels might fear to tread.
The wonderful storytelling narratives of Aaron Teasdale may entice you to take to the world on 2 wheels. For great writing, Aaron Teasdale bikes his way to the bronze in this year's Grand Award category.
Winning silver, freelance writer Marcia DeSanctis, who's already taken 2 awards in this competition.
Whether she writes on her reflections on a return to Moscow after 28 years, a 20th wedding anniversary trip back to the legendary Paris restaurant that hosted her wedding party, or her remarkable experience contemplating ghosts of slain souls as she visits Rwanda, where she is kicked by a charging 500-pound gorilla, she gets into the reader's head with her vivid descriptions of places, events, and people.
It's no surprise that her work has appeared in so many publications. Her goal, as stated in her award-winning piece for the iPad magazine Overnight Buses, is to cause her reader to think. In a tour de force of excellence, she achieves that goal, and Marcia DeSanctis earns silver in the Grand Award category.
And the Gold Award winner, the Lowell Thomas Travel Journalist of the Year for 2012 is Jill Senchel, travel writer for The Record of Northern New Jersey and NorthJersey.com.
Jill has a conversational style that almost lets you hear her voice while reading her travel columns. And she knows how to spin a yarn. She wrote recently of a bus tour that literally took to the air rather than the road. It's a wonderful flight into fun and fancy.
Jill tells a different kind of tale when she writes about resisting current travel restrictions in Colombia, casting off the shadow of fear. She finds the country to be as fascinating and diverse a destination as any reader could imagine. Her spirited writing is certain to entice readers to make a similar trek.
She unashamedly touts the joys of traveling solo, and she speaks up for travelers when the proposed Traveler's Bill of Rights doesn't go nearly far enough.
Jill Cinchel consistently proves that she's the consummate storyteller. She earns gold as the 2012 Lowell Thomas Grand Award winner, Travel Journalist of the Year.
Congratulations to Jill Schenzel and all winners in the 2012 Lowell Thomas competition.
This competition is underwritten by the Belgian Tourist Office for Flanders and Brussels and by Travel Guard Travel Insurance.
The SATW Foundation appreciates their contributions and the donations made by so many SATW members in support of its goal to recognize and reward outstanding travel journalism.
Special thanks also to all entrants in this year's competition. We invite you to enter and be part of this presentation next year at the SATW conference in 2013.